Hey all, my name is Jeran Ulrich. I am a Microsoft Modern Work technologist who recently has been receiving a lot of questions around Microsoft Copilot security. This is going to be a quick crash course on how Copilot respects your privacy and keeps your data safe. I'll start by reviewing some AI basics before we dive into all the components that makes Copilot tick. I want to give a quick shout out to Microsoft Mechanics and John Seville, whose published content I utilized to create this video. All right, let's get into it. Copilot is a Microsoft AI assistant designed to accelerate creation and curation to boost your productivity. Copilot combines the power of large language models with your data in the Microsoft Graph, your calendar, emails, chats, documents, meetings, and more to turn your words into the most powerful productivity tool on the planet. And it does so within Microsoft's existing commitments to data security and privacy. Large language models are AI algorithms trained on massive amounts of public data, including books, articles, and websites to learn language, context, and meaning. You can interact with large language models using natural language with what's called a prompt. A prompt is typically a statement or question. When you create a prompt, the LLM generates a response based on its public data training and understanding of context. You have the option to include supplementary information, aka context, in your prompt, which the large language model will utilize while generating its response. This is how you can give the LLM a little more knowledge than it might need to answer your question. Here's Microsoft Bing's ChatGPT-enabled public service. If I were to ask what is outside my window without context, the LLM would not be able to provide a response. If I provide context of what is outside my window, the LLM responds using the information I gave it, which is in line with what I was looking for. As you continue to ask questions and get responses, the large language model is temporarily getting more context. Your full conversation gets sent with each subsequent prompt, so the LLM can generate relevant responses as you chat with it. It's processing natural language and referring to its knowledge like we would in conversation. Before we get into all the components that Copilot utilizes, I want to emphasize that when a user uses Copilot, they are not using the public OpenAI ChatGPT. The public LLM and Copilot are separate as the image suggests. Microsoft made a copy of the OpenAI LLM and put it inside the M365 cloud. This is a super important distinction as it stays within the M365 cloud's security and compliance boundaries. More to come on this. Now let's focus on how Copilot works with you, a Microsoft user. So here's the secure M365 cloud. Here I am working in M365 apps. All this activity creates context, that additional information Copilot will utilize in future prompts. All this data Copilot will be referencing is connected via the Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph is a platform that connects multiple services and devices, aka a gateway to data within M365. As mentioned earlier, we have the public version of the OpenAI GPT-4 LLM model outside of the Microsoft Cloud. And then we have a private copy of the OpenAI LLM securely inside the Microsoft Cloud. And the newest, most important player is our orchestrator, Microsoft Copilot. So I want some productivity assistance, so I create a prompt for Copilot. Hey Copilot, recap what I missed during a meeting, or draft OKRs for my team, or summarize the email thread with Contoso Manufacturing while I was out of office last week. This kicks off our AI assistant. Copilot begins orchestrating, which is Copilot's ability to break down tasks into multi-step components and execute the tasks according to a generated plan. At this point, Copilot has received our basic prompt and improved upon it with added context, instructions, and rules. This will make for a more grounded prompt. Copilot creates a meta prompt. What is a meta prompt? While a regular prompt is specific to a particular task or conversation, a meta prompt can be used in a variety of situations and it can adapt to different contexts. Essentially, Copilot will improve your prompts. At this point, Copilot will either output a response or develop a search plan to find more information. We need more information here, so Copilot will use the search plan to explore your data via the Graph API. Important note, Copilot will be limited to the user's purview. Copilot utilizes an on behalf of user token, meaning search results and generated responses will be based on information that the user has explicit permission to access. Resulting accessible data will be looped back to Copilot. Copilot will iterate this process a couple of times at a minimum to optimize its results. Copilot will provide additional data back to the LLM to help create a better prompt and rinse repeat as you see here. When results are optimized, instead of a meta prompt being returned, an informed response will be generated and return to the end user. Now that we understand how Copilot works, I want to reiterate Copilot was built with Microsoft's reliability, safety, privacy, security, and more responsible AI standards in place. Additionally, Copilot utilizes a private copied version of an OpenAI LLM to assist with prompt engineering. Your data is your data. Lastly, Copilot system respects per user access permissions to any content and graph information it retrieves. This is important because Microsoft 365 Copilot will only generate responses based on information that a user has explicit permissions to access. More to come, but this has been a Copilot security brief. Hope you learned something and thanks for listening.